You are listening to Viewpoints from Place Cloud. Cultural researchers tell stories of places from around the world. For the full multimedia experience and to support the creators you enjoy, visit placecloud.io.
We're standing now in St Paul's churchyard, the street to the south of the great cathedral. It had once been a highway running east to west, but in the early 14th century, a post had been set in the middle of St Augustine's Gate by the ecclesiastical authorities. Despite objections from the city government, it remained in place until the interregnum in the 1650s, when carts could once again pass by. From the early 16th centuries, the area around St Paul's Cathedral, including the famous Paternoster Row, were centres of publishing trade in England. Printers and booksellers working from shops here spread ideas and information across the country. Nearby was the Hall of the Stationers' Company, the London Livery Company, or Guild, which held theoretical control over the print trade in England through most of the 16th and 17th centuries. Fronting alleys and streets and open spaces were buildings of all kinds, including private houses and shops. And it was the stationers, members of the Stationers' Company, who developed the alley between Paternoster Row and the great north door of the cathedral. And this was usually called Pissing Alley, for obvious reasons. All around the churchyard, bookshops sprung up, as well as trades associated with bookselling, such as bookbinders and glassmakers. And during the 16th century, various shops around Paul's Cross churchyard, to the northeast of the cathedral, also gathered up many booksellers. The bays between the buttresses against the cathedral were likewise turned to the book trade. And some of the buildings in the bays were not just small stalls, but could be 2 stories tall. Those on the other sides, around the cathedral, could have 3 or even 4 stories. By the 1570s, there were few spaces in the churchyard that hadn't been taken over by booksellers. Through the following century or more, the churchyard was home to many people related to the book trade, and where people could come to browse and purchase all manner of books, perhaps have them bound, perhaps even commission their own works. And while we think about the history of England and the history of London in this time, we must pay quite a bit of attention to print. Now, while there were many ways of communicating ideas, sharing information, it was printed works during this period which were arguably revolutionary to the way that ordinary Englishmen and women could think. This was the era of new types of print, from Shakespeare to Milton, even to domestic news, which before this period had always been disseminated by word of mouth to most ordinary English people. During the Reformation, that vicious war of words over political and religious ideologies, print was at the centre, as well as with the civil wars of the mid-17th centuries, where people took up arms to defend their king, defend their parliament, fight one another, fight other people, when brother turned against brother and father turned against son. Print was at the centre of it all, much of it coming from this small area around Paul's Cathedral.